Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. We're here with yet another Zoom panel. The Prize for Contemporary Craftsmanship is an initiative that AD began with JSW in 2018. From the outset, there were lots of things we wanted to do with the prize, including social impact and community. But the main focus of the prize is quite clear that it's to recognize talent from across India who fuse excellence in craftsmanship with brilliance in design. In year one, we awarded the prize to the Kalhath Institute in Lucknow, which was founded by Max Modesti and is where he trains the next generation of master embroiderers. Max is actually on the call today in his capacity as AD's craftsmanship editor. I'm always so thankful to have his voice on a conversation like this. This year, in the third edition, we have two winners who are both here on Zoom with us today. I'm going to leave it to Tarini Jindal to introduce them in a moment. AD's partner in the prize has always been JSW, and that has stemmed from a personal passion for craftsmanship from Sangita Jindal. I can say that over the last couple of years, I've seen how the Jindal family's personal interest in the people behind craftsmanship manifests itself. It's a really impressive attitude. I'm very thankful to them both for supporting the prize in all sorts of ways. And finally, the last person I'm yet to introduce is Malika Verma, the founder of Border and Fall, the really groundbreaking creative agency that centers around fashion, textiles, and craft in India. More than an expert, she is an advocate and an activist for craftsmanship and the author behind a really compelling manifesto for design and craft, which I encourage you all to look up on Border and Fall's Instagram. So over to you, Mrs. Jindal.
Hello, everyone. So it is finally happening. In spite of the pandemics all over, we are determined that we will continue our way of improving and honoring the craft in our country. I wanted to honor the craftspeople who have done something with a difference. But I wanted to award people who are using the same craft, but to do it in a contemporary way. I have upped the bar because I know the kind of problems that are there. We will give 10 lakhs each in JSW Craft Prize to Chiaki Maki and Sandeep Sangaroo. And Tarini, I would like you to say a few words.
Thank you, Mom. So I'd love to announce the winners for today's AD Craft Prize. The first winner is Chiaki Maki. Chiaki is a Japanese weaver who has been creating earthy textiles for years in Dehradun at her atelier Ganga Maki, which was designed by Bijoy Jain. The second winner I'd like to announce is Sandeep Sangaroo, who has been working on reviving Pinja Kari and Khatam Band, the ancient woodworking crafts from Kashmir. And besides the prize money, we are delighted to hand over this specially designed virtual trophy to both the winners.
Let's start with Sandeep first, and let's fly directly to Srinagar, Sandeep. Well, you know, we always want to know, how did it started? How did you immerse yourself in the history of Kashmiri craft, and through all these years, 17 years is it's starting to be quite a long time. What has changed and what has stayed the same?
So I landed up in Srinagar 2004. It was the month of Ramzan, and it completely transported me to a different world. And I was quite mesmerized by the architecture, the landscape, and the people, and the what they wear and how they interact and everything. We started to inquire to meet craftspeople to work with. And in the process of interacting, we asked them what are the challenges they face while they practice the craft. And that's how it all started. And it took me almost 6 months to break the ice with them, for someone to work with me. Because when you're working with a traditional craftsman, and particularly in Kashmir, it's a trade, and everyone is engaged in it, and everything is sorted out from the craftsman to the markets. And someone new coming and saying, I'm going to do something new for you, and it's going to change your livelihoods. It was not so welcoming, because when you're doing crafts, it's about keeping the essence of the craft alive without losing its essence. How do you create something new? Because it belongs to a place, and people connect to the craft through that particular character of the craft.
Sandeep, as we're watching, just to also share a little bit about what the craft form actually is, just from a process, a technique, for those not familiar with it.
One is Khatam Band, which is art of covering the ceiling, a decorative ceiling with tessellated wooden panels, interlocking with wooden battens. And the craft uses Islamic geometry as the basis of geometry of itself. And since it's geometry, it needs to be really precise. And since it's wood, you need to have really good understanding of wood construction, because they don't use glues or nails to put it, fasten it together. It's all interlocking, forming a seamless tessellated geometric surface. The other one is Pinjrakari, which is a lattice work, which is again a geometric construction using very thin battens of wood, again interlocking without any glues and nails. This craft is extinct right now. No traditional community is there which practices it. So primarily it was used on houses as an architectural application, both these crafts. And I was quite intrigued by the way they use the construction techniques to make this. My first project was doing furniture, so I slowly made bookshelves just to use simple panels made out of jali and put it around the bookshelves. So there is an additional value of the product. So it's just not a panel that you put on a window or a screen, but the bookshelf becomes a value-added product, and they could actually sell it.
Sandeep, one question that I cannot resist, of course, is because you're based in Srinagar, is to ask you, how is the political situation, the COVID, this crisis affecting your work?
Most of the community, the craftsmen in Srinagar, they live in the downtown area of Srinagar, which is a volatile place all the time. And there are a lot of restrictions of movement. But over the period of time, we kind of found a way to live with it and figure ways to work. And lately, as technology improved with WhatsApp and internet, and worked much better. So the political situation over a period of time kind of disappeared for me and my team. We continue to work irrespective of what was happening around.
What are the aspects that have been the focus of sort of innovation versus where you've really preserved? Has it been technique, or just a little bit more insight, illustrative insight on that?
Yeah, as a designer, what I bring onto the table is a new way of looking at the product styling. That paper mache painting panel that we did on Khatam Band. So my only guidelines to him was to make it little more contemporary with using a white backdrop as a color, and that one thing made a lot of difference to that whole panel that he made. And I was not there sitting with him. I gave him the job, and I came back after 4 months to see it. So he had done a beautiful work, and I guess little direction is required. And I think if that direction is given, they come up with their own ideas, which I couldn't have thought of.
Thank you, Sandeep. And Chiaki, before we ask you some questions, to maybe just see some images of your work as well, if the team can play those, and if you'd like to share anything as we're watching them, Chiaki, please feel free.
We are growing indigos every year. This is Hasinga, that we have many trees in the site. And this is a typical winter time scene that I see in the courtyard of Ganga Maki. And this is one of our work, textiles. And this is the fermentation of natural indigo. And this is our dyeing place, like a village. And this is hand-reeled silk. We, time to time, we also cultivate silkworms. This is basho fiber. Basho is kind of banana tree, but it doesn't give fruits, but they give a beautiful fiber. This is our drying. This is our washing and dyeing place under the roof outside. I love the tassa silk. It's my favorite silk in life.
So what happened 30 years ago? Why Dehradun, and how come Dehradun from Japan? What happened?
So I visited many countries, like where people used to still weave for themselves. So I went like Indonesia, Thailand, China, and I went Central India, I went Eastern Europe, and then I came to India. And I got stuck. India had so much. I could not just believe it. But what I found, that material, the yarns that I found, I never seen in my life. And then I wanted to visit villages where they make yarns. Then I visited Madhya Pradesh, Orissa, and Assam, and wherever I could. Then I saw how they are making yarns. It was like, I just could not believe it, but it was real. And I realized, oh, yarns are not something that we buy in the shop. This is life. I realized if they don't have life like this, we don't get this kind of yarns. So this is the way of life. So if they live like this, like that, so they can make beautiful yarns. All yarns is so beautiful and all different. Each house has different yarns. And so I just thought so much richness in India. And I wanted to make something that I really like.
Can you tell us a little bit more about the idea of building up this studio with Bijoy? How did you meet Bijoy? How did you decide to build up this studio? And how did you basically dialogue together to decide how to make it happen?
I was just amazed that somebody who does architecture has same kind of way that I make my textiles. Because I also learn a lot from tradition, but I feel as Sandeep was saying, craft cannot be just following old techniques, but old techniques has so much meaning and so much thing that we learn, but we have to make it something new. I use only natural fibers. I requested him, I want only natural materials for my buildings. I can talk about our workshop, because our workshop we have it's like square. How do I say? It's sitting on the foot of mountain, Himalayas, very end. So it's a very nice slope, but it is kind of on the hill. And we have like a square shape, but Bijoy wanted to open up, to have some flow from, I don't know what flow is it, air or the water, but we have 4 buildings, which is like weaving workshop, sewing workshop, hand workshop, work making workshop. And in the middle, we have a courtyard. And this courtyard has a pond, which can reflect full moon. When full moon comes up, then full moon reflects to the water of the pond. This is to remember moon time. So this is Bijoy's message for us.
But what you've created is a studio where all your 34, 35, artisans are equally placed in a space that respects their, respects them. And I think that was just interesting to highlight here, that's truly, I think it's not about a beautiful building, right? It's about what the building does and what that says for craft. And truly in India, as someone from the outside, I can say that that's what's resonated with people, why they're interested, because it's a different view on craft in that way, which truly brings the culture of Japan to the table. So just wanted to add that in.
I want to live life and make my fabrics for people who would like. Can be, right now I'm sending to Japan, most of them, but I'm so happy any of Indian people like my work, I'm more than happy. I would love to share. But I'm learning everything from India. Like today, I received this. This is fresh cocoon. This is the first time this year, freshly made from very near from our studio. So if we do this by hand, the texture that you can see from the cocoon, there is some texture in the silk. This is the real nature of silk. This we can maintain if we do it by hand, slowly. This whole setup here in Gangamaki can give us experience of a small, like kind of like a village way of life, and textile as way of living.
We can see through both of you, we can see the passion and the fact that what you made could happen only in India, honestly. And this is also the beauty of of this craft award. It's to recognize that finally India is a unique place for modern craft and how to reinvent and how to write these stories.
Maybe just take a moment to thank, Architectural Digest, the JSW Craftsmanship Prize for, like you said, creating a space to further these dialogues, which happen already, but need to happen more and more formalized in a place where we can just continue to bring recognition to the incredible work being done, which is incredibly, exemplified by Chiaki and Sandeep, and of course Max, the first recipient of the prize. So, everyone here is more than doing their part. And just wanted to thank you and thank the team for having us all on today, and looking forward to the next time when we can engage.